You're listening to the 5-Minute Friday podcast episode of The Aligned Self. This is your host, Daniel J-N-O-V. Okay, 5-Minute Friday, a short and concise podcast episode of The Aligned Self, designed to leave you with a question, an idea, a strategy, a tip, a hack, in order to give you greater access to your conscious awareness, evolving your conscious awareness, or give you greater mastery over your mind. Well, friend, welcome to this 5-Minute Friday. And in all transparency, if you're listening to this in real time, like if you're all caught up with the episodes and listening to them as they're being released, this is actually being released on Saturday. But if you are catching up down the road, it just appears as another episode. And in this episode, I want to release or tell you about 2 more manifestation techniques or scripting techniques that you can utilize in your life to manifest the reality that you want to live into. Now, if this is your first episode of The Aligned Self, I suggest you go back to episodes 92, which was all about scripting, my favorite manifesting tool, then episode 94, and 96 and 97, speaking into existence. It's all on scripting. And just for a primer, scripting is telling the story the way you want it to be, in such a way as if it happens today. And then it's just a story you live into. Because your point of power is the present. It's right now. So the story you're telling today is the one that you're going to manifest in the next few moments, or tomorrow, or the next day, next year. What you're currently experiencing is actually the story you've been telling yourself the last week, the last 3 weeks, the last 6 months, the last year, or the story you've been telling all your life, and it's just a theme that you're living into. So the term scripting comes from theater, and the idea is that you script out the future that you want to live into. You create the scene, the blocking, the temperature, the ambiance, everything that is part of the future that you want to live into now. And if you want a more thorough examination of it, go back and start at the beginning at episode 92 and go to 94, 96, 97. Then come back to this one. But this first scripting technique I want to call phone a friend. And the way it works is you use your cell phone and you pretend you're calling a friend, calling your sister, calling your brother, and you're telling them the good news as if it just happened. For instance, I could call my brother Joe and say, "Joe, I have the most amazing news to share. We just closed on the perfect property. We had been talking about it, looking at different properties, not real serious, we didn't put a lot of effort into it, and this perfect property just was thrown at us. We just came upon it. And after looking at it and investigating it, it had everything we wanted." And then I could go on and list all the attributes, how it has this and that, and all these different characteristics that we've been creating in our mind's eye, that my wife and I have been talking about. We just attracted it as if it came out of nowhere. It was the perfect deal, the perfect situation, the perfect place, everything that we wanted. So by talking into my cell phone, I'm practicing telling and spreading the good news as if it just happened, and saying it in a way that I'm so excited. I love how everything just came together in the most perfect way. I couldn't have planned it any better. I feel completely supported by the universe. I must have done something really good in a previous life to allow the universe to show up in such an amazing way for me. Or I could call my friend Janice and say, "Janice, you'll never guess what happened. I manifested $10,000. It just landed in my bank account today. And it came from such an unlikely source, I couldn't have planned it any better." I have to tell you, it feels really good to have that $10,000 in my account. There's a sense of ease and grace around it. I don't have to worry about the next bill, next month's payments, actually the next 3 months' payments. I feel pretty good right now, having this money sitting in my account. So whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to attract, that's the phone call you have. That's the news that you spread. Whether it's finding the perfect piece of property, the perfect car, the perfect mate, the perfect partner, or a boatload of money, or a fantastic state of being. Let's say this time I'm calling my mom. Mom, I have to tell you, your son is hitting it on all cylinders. I woke up today again. I woke up today. I couldn't wait to get started. I am loving life. I woke up energized. I feel fantastic. In fact, I feel 10 years younger, 20 years younger. I feel energized and vitalized and just fantastic. If I felt any better, I don't know if I could stand myself. So are you getting the picture? Are you getting the drift? Are you getting what I'm laying down here? You speak it as if it just happened. You embellish it. You put all the emotion in it. You put the excitement in it, as if you're spreading the good news. And how often do you do this, phone a friend? You do it as often as it takes in order for you to feel as if it's true. And as a check, I would record it actually in your voice recorder app on your phone. Pretend you're making the phone call, but record the message. Record the story that you're telling. Record the script that you're living into. Speak it, say it with enthusiasm, and then play it back. And ask yourself, does it sound like I'm really believing it? Does it sound like I'm really excited? If not, go back and record it again. And then once you get a recording that sounds amazing, that impresses even you, I would keep that and then play it again from time to time, just to keep the energy flowing. And not out of any fear that, the universe didn't hear you. But by the time you tell the story in a way that is exciting, exuberant, and feels believable, that's enough, and you can let it go. And then just let the universe fulfill on your wish. A variation of this is for you to find a friend or select a friend, not that you have to go find one, but select a friend that will support you in your dreams. They are a cohort, a companion, a partner in crime. And this is similar to this exercise that I did with my wife that I talked about in Speaking into Existence. But your friend and you basically tell each other how proud you are about them arriving at their good news. That might have just sounded a little confusing, so this is me role-playing a friend of mine calling me. Daniel, I just had to call you and tell you how impressed I am. When I found out that you hit the $1 million mark, I have to admit, I was a little envious, but then I was really proud of what you've accomplished. You should be really proud of yourself, of everything that you've done and the amount of people that you've helped along the way. Because you would never have gotten that money without helping all those people. And I think that's the bigger impact. The money is just bonus. That's just frosting on the cake. What's really important is all the people that you've assisted in transformation. Yes, Daniel, you should be really proud of yourself. So in this scenario, I would suggest you write the script and you have your friend read it. But read it in a way where they are talking to you, congratulating you. And then tell them that you want them to act over the top, to be very exuberant, very boastful about your accomplishments. And then in response, you're going to say something like this. Thank you for noticing. I know. I have to tell you, I'm completely proud of myself for everything that I've accomplished, all the people I've assisted, and the difference that I've made in the world. Now, if it isn't apparent, you have to call upon your inner actor. And be in the mindset, when I do accomplish this, how would I feel? How excited would I feel? How exuberant would I be? Would it make a big difference? If it makes a big difference, make a big deal out of it. And I do need to touch upon that one idea that I threw out there, that your response is, thank you for noticing, I know. And I want you to look at yourself and how comfortable you feel saying that sort of thing. Perhaps it's in response to a compliment. Doris, that's an amazing dress. Thank you. I know. Thank you for noticing. Because when you say thank you, I know, it's you being completely in the receiving mode, completely owning up to everything that you've created, everything that you've manifested. I did it. And I can remember the first time I owned it in that way, really owned it fully. I was laying in a hammock on a beach on the island of Utila. I had been invited to a dive resort to present my firewalking workshop, Unleashed and Unstoppable. I had all my expenses paid, I had a free room for 2 weeks, and I was featured on the TV show that was there filming Into the Drink, which talked about the dive resorts and the drinking establishments in the area. But there I was, laying in that hammock, recounting everything that had transpired and realizing I created this. I had scripted it. I'd scripted it about 3 years prior of doing a workshop in a Caribbean resort and being on a TV show. So I made a Facebook post saying, I created this. I owned it. I loved it. I loved the fact that everything came together in such a magical way. So that's it for this 5-Minute Friday. Put these practices to use. Do this scripting. Do the phone call. Phone a friend. And then tell me about your results. I would love to hear about your results. Until next time, this is your friend and host, Daniel Denovi, urging you to follow your bliss. Live your life from inner signals. Be inner directed, allowing your life to be the story of your self-expression as you live the epic adventure.